What's up, everyone? Are you pumped? Because I sure am. That one's for the OGs. Anyways, as most of you that are watching know, there are always going to be scams circulating in an area where there are those with something to lose and those with something to gain. Whether it be the Indian tech hotline scams or South Asian carders, there will always be those benefiting from the loss of others, which brings me to the imminent topic today. I'll admit it, there's a huge scam going around these days on Roblox. There used to be the Chrome extension cookie logs or the fish links. There's a new method that's more ruthless, more lethal than any before. Many refer to this infamous infiltration as the JavaScript scam, costing Roblox users near you to lose countless millions of Robux. Not even kidding. Quickly, for those of you who do not know about this, I'll be displaying the vague format of these scams to direct you around the snake in the grass so as not to get struck by the venom of these con artists' deadly teeth. Parts of this will be blurred out as to deter the handful of you who are too curious for your own good who would type this text into your browser. If you do come across this full string of text and you simply cannot resist the urge to let it be, I strongly advise not pasting it in the main browser that you use for sites such as Roblox, or wherever you may keep passwords. So this involves the root functionality of these JavaScript scams, the process of cookie logging, but more on that later in the video. Now, without further ado, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. In this video, I intend to explore the implications of this con and the way it works to best educate this audience and to deter the further use of this method. To gain advantage over an enemy, sometimes you have to get in their head and take a step in their shoes. Okay, let's start this example off with some vocabulary and coding terms that will be used throughout the video. Number 1, cookies. Cookies are information stored about your internet presence in the form of small text documents saved on your own computer. Data that is stored solely on your computer is called local data, kind of like how information stays on a flash drive and it stays there and only there until you plug it into a computer where then you can change that data. This is how websites are able to remember your login information and your user preferences and such, like how you might have a website remember your passwords. Cookies are the main vulnerability of Roblox and are most commonly the backbone to many outdated Roblox scams, including the one I'll be discussing today. Number 2, XSS or cross-site scripting. XSS or cross-site scripting is the transition of information across websites, and all you need to know about this is that this is how many Roblox scams function. By identifying local data on your computer, such as cookies, and broadcasting it to a different website. This will be important later on, so just keep that in mind. Number 3.
Executable.
A file that can be ran or executed on a device that performs an action. This is most commonly represented by the files followed by the .exe, quote-unquote, file extension. Now that you're more knowledgeable on this topic, you can go use some of those terms to impress your friends or something, or whatever cliche people say after teaching you terms. To begin this example, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how this small string of text can cost you your Robux and items at the click of a button. As before, I have replaced the harmful names with the word cookie link as to prevent you from tampering with this link. And I will be using this for the rest of the video. We'll begin with the primary segment and the most important part of the scam, JavaScript colon. This is one of the only ways, if not the only way, to execute foreign JavaScript code in your browser and infiltrate files that should not be touched by other users than yourself. Google, Chrome, and many other web services have enacted countermeasures and safety measures to this security issue by making it impossible to copy and paste this phrase into your browser. If you don't believe me, you can try it right now. I'll leave the text in the description. Try and copy paste it into your browser. This has a lot to do with the term we defined before, cross-site scripting. I would go more in depth on how this is important, but the purpose of the video is to be concise and educate you, the viewer. I'll leave a link to a reliable article in the description if you want to do some homework yourself. But the main gist of why it's an issue is that XSS, and I quote, XSS attacks enable attackers to inject client-side scripts into web pages viewed by other users. Due to Google's proactivity to deter these scams, this is why it's unable to be pasted into your search bar. And this is where the video becomes to get pretty important. So listen up, because scammers can't get you to paste this exact phrase into your address or search bar. So they will add individual characters into the code, such as a plus sign highlighted in the text on screen, and then will proceed to try and convince you to paste this text into your browser and then delete the said character. An example later in this video contains the same method of using a plus sign to allow the phrase to be pasted. I'll leave another bit of text in the description, same as before, except with a plus sign added, and try for yourself to paste this into your browser. Next, the money sign followed by .get is simply a name of an action or file that is being retrieved or requested from a certain site or service that I'll be discussing shortly. These files are not specifically exclusive to being named with a money sign, and pretty much any word can be in place of it, followed by the .get. So now that we know that this JavaScript is requesting a certain action or file with the use of .get, because it's, getting something, so what do the following phrases mean? Well, I myself am far from being an expert to any degree when it comes to JavaScript coding, but I believe these two phrases are separated by a / I believe that they are interacting with each other. Now the first phrase has the file extension of XYZ, or so I thought when I first looked at this code, but it didn't really make any sense to me at first, because why would a hacker need to deal with 3D data or vector coordinates that doesn't really have anything to do with cookies or text data? I realized later on that I was very wrong, however, and this is definitely not a file extension. This is actually a domain name. So just as Google is followed by .com, quote-unquote cookie link is followed by .xyz. I'll prove that this is true and why this makes perfect sense shortly. The final and following text, getCookie54.js, yes, I have also censored this, just in case, is a JavaScript file because the .js is a JavaScript executive. And this is where the cookies come into play. This JavaScript code likely originates on the website cookielink.xyz and contains instructions that are used to tell your computer to give the scammer specific text or cookie that contains the information needed to log into your account. This is not really a password or login, but rather a large amount of seemingly random characters that simply allow access to your account. This is also where the website cookielink.xyz comes into play. This website is the whole reason why I define the term of cross-site scripting. This website is owned by the scammer and hands to them your login, your cookie in a little present box with a cute bow wrapped on top after the getcookie54.js finds it. But then you may be thinking, well, if this website just displays the cookies of other users, can't other people access this site and get their hands on some free logins? No. And to prove this, and to prove that this website is actually used by the scammers, I will be using a secure browser called Tor to try and access this site without risking my cookies being logged. And, I'm using this because I don't play Roblox on this, so there's no cookies being logged about my login information. Well, whatever, you get it. So, by definition, this 403 error tells us that the owner of this site has intentionally privatized the page and allowed only themselves to access it. Well, maybe there's just a glitch in the system. Maybe the site doesn't even exist. It's not even owned by anyone. Well, again, fair point, but I have proof against this. Okay, guys, so we're on GoDaddy.com. This site is basically a platform to sell web domains. There's a bunch of others like Google domains. Can't really remember the others, I'm going to be completely honest, but this is not like a sponsorship or anything, but I'm just going to show you really quick that this site has already been taken. So I'll probably figure out some way to blur this out, but I'm going to be typing in the actual website name that it was used in that one of the scam links. So XYZ extension, we're going to press search domain, and you will see as this loads, the magic happened. Somebody has already taken this domain. Somebody has already taken this name. There's no way that's a coincidence. As you can see in this clip, the website domain is taken by someone already. This site name is too random and too specific, just to be frank, to be taken and used by someone randomly. This is not something you would invest in. It's a completely, seemingly random website name. No. Someone took this site deliberately and are operating on it as if it were a digital villain's lair or something like that. Now this may make sense to some of you, but I know there are plenty of you out there who are still unconvinced. So because of this, I'll be using a recently scammed user by the name of TivoFox, who actually lost 40 million Robux in this very scam, as an example to explain how the scam operates in real time. They did get their items back, however, but not everyone is that lucky. These screenshots were released on TivoFox's Twitter shortly after they were compromised and had no idea what happened to them. These pictures give us all the evidence we need to piece together a solid story. As you can see in this specific image, the culprit of this scam is being seen sending a tutorial video to the unsuspecting user TivoFox. If you want the full story from TivoFox's perspective, I recommend visiting their Twitter and experiencing the full story for yourself. Link will be in the description. Anyways, we can see shortly after this tutorial video, quote unquote, the user asks Tivo whether they removed the plus sign. Now where have we seen this before? Yeah, where have we seen this before? Hopefully, if TivoFox is able to see this video, they can tell us whether they really did paste the JavaScript code in their browser, but until then, I guess we can only speculate. It seems awfully convenient that this girl would be requesting Tivo to remove a character from a mystery phrase. Actually, cut. Actually, during the time of I filmed this video, I received confirmation from a moderator on the ROBLOX Discord server that the link this girl sent was indeed a tutorial on using this very JavaScript code to obtain a quote-unquote texture. Anyways, as you can see, the assailant notices, quote-unquote, that TivoFox had lost their items from their account within minutes of the last message in their chat. To the untrained eye, it may seem as though the scam was instantaneous and the items were traded immediately, but it is apparent that Tivo had already pasted the code the previous day after watching the tutorial video, you know? The thief was on Tivo's account for nearly an entire day before Tivo could even notice, planning trades and finding connections with traders to get rid of the items off of Tivo's account as soon as the time was right to strike. So, in conclusion, after examining these screenshots Tivo had provided, it's clear that by 9:59 on that fateful Monday morning, Tivo had already been compromised. Anyways, this pretty much wraps up the video, and I really hope you all not only enjoyed it, but are more experienced in the ways of the scammer now. Not that you should be scamming, but just stay safe, okay? Like this video and share it, not only because I put a lot of effort into it, but also to spread awareness of this scam to your friends on Roblox who may be at risk. This scam is still at large. People are still losing millions a day. As always, stay pumped, everyone, stay safe, and have a good one. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. I can finally go to sleep. Holy shit.